Hello, hello, and we're back. Okay,
Hi.
we've seen our first non-European pick. Gonna be interesting. Gonna be interesting to see who's gonna be coming in on that round. I think the Lithuanian pick makes sense, but looking at the challenges, it's gonna be interesting because with the 50% of provinces non-core as Lithuania, I feel like there's got to be a big release happening at some point, right? Like a Kyiv plus Ruthenia release after a conquest.
Isn't that Zlewick's objective? I'm a little bit confused. Zlewick's
Oh,
red
I'm sorry.
or blue?
No, you're right. That's Zlewikk's objective. That's my mistake. I am, in fact, the one that's confused. Yes, okay, but that's still tricky as Vijayanagar. I mean, we'll see. We'll see.
Oh no, Vijayanagar can easily annex all of the small stuff left in the south and Bahmanis. It's really quick to expand as Vijayanagar. Yeah.
It's quick to expand, but quick to expand while also not coring. I mean, it's going to get harder and harder.
It is what it is.
See, we'll see. 8 alliances, not that challenging. Would be difficult if you tried to do it along with 8 subjects, because of course the over the diplo relations limit would start to kick in pretty harsh at that point, but should be okay. 15 matching train provinces down in Vijayanagar, not too tricky, not too tricky. But we'll see. We'll see. I think, I don't know. It's gonna be interesting. I think. We've got obviously 6 versus 7, so closer in terms of actual number of challenges going this time. Who are you? I mean, I should know actually. You know what? I'm gonna pick who I'm rooting for this time. Yeah, and you can just take the other side because as we all saw, Zlewikk has a rather excellent map behind him, and EU4 up wrong side of myself, but EU4 map gang behind you rise up because this I'm going to root for Zlewikk in this one. And we'll see if we can take. I'm going to look a point on the right. It's very confusing mirroring yourself, but we're going to see how we can take this here Lithuania. I can't point in a mirror anyway.
I mean, you're going for the surefire option here because we all know EU4 players cannot really get friends, and Quarbit's asking for 8 friends here, but Zlewikk knows that he can make people to be his friend. That's why he's getting 8 subjects, right? So he knows
Which
what's up.
straight crossing do you think he's going for as Lithuania?
Straight crossing as Lithuania.
Yeah, maybe in Livonians, I guess, potentially.
No, he starts with a straight crossing in Vijayanagar. That's Zlewick's.
God, I'm so confused.
He's got the one at Sri Lanka.
It's still Zlewikk who chose that. Yes, that's a good point, chat. It's a good point. I am completely lost it at the moment, apparently. Right, well, let's cover for myself by cutting to camera and going and having a look at what Zlewikk is up to here. If I can do that, but I can't yet. But let's take a look in game now and start doing how we're going here. Awesome, awesome. And if we take a look from Zlewick's perspective, I can unambiguously show that yes, here he is down in Vijayanagar. All right, and without any further ado, I will sound the starting gun and we can get going here. Zlewikk, obviously an extremely accomplished player, and we'll see how he's able to pull through. I have immediately noticed something on over on Quarbit's side, which is that we have victory cards enabled. So I'm sure that will have a huge impact on the outcome of this challenge. But we'll see. We'll see. So Ludi, I'm gonna give your perspective here for a second, but also bring up.
I'm actually gonna need to reconnect with my perspective. I'm gonna reconnect to Parsec. So if we can switch to Zlewick's perspective for a second, then.
Sure.
I'm just going to reconnect here quickly because for some reason it's very laggy for me.
Give us a victory card challenge. We could. We could do. What would it be? Like, I mean, the victory cards, how often do they show up? Once every 50 years or something? So I'm not sure how doable that would be, but it would certainly be a risky play because, of course, the victory point could show up at any point. But we'll see. We'll see. I think we may need to pause it here. For a second.
Pause it for a second so I can.
That's okay. We can do a quick little do over here and hold it while we get things. A few little technical issues sorted out on our side. No problem with that. Looking at the challenges that we have here, I'm feeling like for Lithuania, and I'm actually going to use the right one here. In terms of 15 provinces of the same type, it's not going to be hard. Could go east into steppes, could consolidate the woods that they already have a huge number of here. could get yeah, don't worry, we'll reset the time as we get back in here. Don't worry. We'll get the grasslands, obviously could be going south for those, plenty of those to be had. 8 alliances. Now 8 alliances, it's not that hard, but it is a little annoying because you start with 4 diplo slots, obviously, as Lithuania. If he were able to grab 2 subjects, then he'd be able to get himself 2 extra diplo slots to account for them. But I should, if somebody could tell Quarbit that we are pausing for a second here, and then we will restart. I guess that hasn't been communicated to him as of yet. We'll see, though. I think, yeah, it's also worth noting, you should join the Discord, especially if you are already subscribed. And if you're not already subscribed, I mean, what are you waiting for? Because we would love to get some more subscriber suggestions coming in and be able to have those, because we are going to be each week. We have 40 base challenges, and we're going to be adding to them with some of your suggestions. So, other challenges here, 100 prestige, 100 legitimacy. Not that hard. Obviously, the legitimacy you can keep topped off with your mill power, no problem at all. But then the prestige, going to be a little bit more challenging. We'll see how Quarbit tackles that particular one. Force limit with cavalry, given that Quarbit is not going for the 10,000 ducats, that's a lot easier. Because if you're allowed to just throw away your economy, also, I've just noticed, Lithuanian coat of arms here, or not, flag, or I'm not certain what the flag that they're using here, or perfect for a nation where they're going for this many cavalry, of course, literally having a knight on the arms. But then the difficult one, and this is the one I'm really curious to see how he approaches, is going to get the coalition war victory. It's going to be interesting because the ability to win a coalition war, normally, of course, coalition wars happen when the coalition thinks that they have more power than you. They build up, and let's say you're playing Lithuania, you conquer a whole bunch of Teutonic land and a whole bunch of Polish land, and then all the Eastern HRE, right? They get mad and they charge into you. But we'll see. We'll see how they pull that off, because the simpler way to do it, like the slightly cheesy way to do it, would be to cause a coalition to form, but then you have to pause, like right as it starts forming, and declare war on it aggressively. Because remember, when I say coalition war in this context, I don't mean, I'm just going to see whether I can bring this up. I hope I can. Amazing, I can. When I say coalition war in this context, I don't mean a coalition has to declare on you. The CB doesn't have to be coalition. If you declare war on someone in a coalition and there's somebody else, then that does make sense. And it looks like we are now all ready to go. Okay, so awesome. I will endeavor to stop bringing up the thing there. Let's go from Quarbit's perspective for just a second here. Let's go and get this show back on the road. Awesome. The signal to go is gone. The timer is reset, and we are away. We're back here now. Yeah, we're back. How would you handle taking on doing the coalition war victory objective?
Coalition war victory objective. So he has to form a coalition against them and win the war against the coalition, right?
Correct. Yes, but he's allowed to declare on the coalition.
He's allowed to declare on the coalition. That's easy in that case. So you just trigger you wait for the coalition to form. You attack the weakest of them. You take their capital. As long as you hold their capital for a few years, you automatically can piece them out and as such win. So it's a matter of, or you can just win the battles. End of the day, it's a show superiority CB. So as long as you win all of the engagements, that means make sure that your vassals are attached to your armies. You don't have like small army stacks around the map. So this way, it's easy to just focus on particular engagements on your terms, and as such, have an easy time winning.
Makes sense.
That's
not
a tough one.
Instantly, 8 alliances. Not very difficult to accomplish. And instantly racked up. Quarbit obviously going into the chat. Let's take a look from your perspective, though. Talk to me about Ludi's path to glory here.
So Zlewikk's taking the good old MP path of aggression and destruction, ravaging everybody around, destroying, not leaving anybody alive. There's kids in the streets of Candy over here asking for candy, and Zlewikk's like, no candy for you. You get Indian musketeers in your face, okay? That's how he's approaching his first 8 subject, first of many. The objective is 8. I'm sure he's gonna go for more.
It's we'll see. We'll certainly see. I mean, it's likely. Chat pointing out that 8 alliances is very easy. I hasten to point out that when the subscribers suggested that one, they suggested, I think, 12, and I lowered it to 8. Clearly, I made a mistake. I agree. I think in future weeks, if we were to use that one again, we'd probably bump it up to more like 11 or 12 when that over the relations
I'd say even 15 really because 12 alliances is yeah, I'd say even 20 really because 15 alliances is easy to do as literally any of the big nations around the HRE because everybody in the HRE wants to ally you. So you just ally them and unally after a month, right? So as you have 15 alliances. 20 is tough because 20 actually, it means that a lot of them are going to be rival to each other, so they might not ally you, right? 8 is literally a free point, in my opinion.
Potentially. And another challenge completed. Unfortunately, the way that Linux works, I can't quite see that. What is the other challenge they've already completed? Is it the 15 started there? The 15 provinces? Is that right? Let's take a look over here. Oh, wrong button.
Oh, let's see. Let's count some provinces.
Yeah, how many do we have here? I mean, that is, I think it would be woods then, I suppose. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, it's going to be easily 15. Yeah, okay, fair enough. So Lithuania literally just has that straight out of the bag, which suggests to me that this is another example of a pre-planned run. And there we go. War declared, going up towards Novgorod. Now, Novgorod, what is that going to help him with in terms of objectives? I mean, obviously, there's a lot of small provinces, which is good for having enough to do your forts. Also good for having a lot of provinces non-core. But so, Ludi, you're telling me that you reckon they can just take a bunch of provinces. They don't need to worry about releasing stuff. Quarbit, that is. Doesn't need to worry about releasing stuff to get up to the... oh, sorry, not Quarbit. Zlewikk can conquer a bunch of stuff to get up to the 50% non-core. I just can't visualize this. I can't visualize this.
He can. I mean, he's gonna have he can have one big war against all the smaller nations into the south here, into Chennai, all that area, right? And then another one against Bahmanis. He's gonna have what, like half of the non-cores that he needs from that, and then he can just go into Gujarat at the same time, or Orissa, or the area between Orissa and Bahmanis, which is insanely low development. I mean, those areas are pretty much all of them 3 development.
Right. Yeah.
Like I'm talking about Patna and Shmogabadaboob and all the other ones. I'm just calling out random names because nobody in chat even knows the names. Also, admit you don't know. Also, yeah, I'm gonna give out some names. You tell me if it's real or not. Bastar, is Bastar a country?
I have no idea.
There you go. Nobody knows.
Idea.
It is.
I must say.
The reality is, it is. It's the blue one, the cool-looking one.
We'll see. All right. Meanwhile, what is
bunch of liars in chat? I'm seeing.
All right. But how about this? What is Zlewikk's hardest challenge? Where is he going to struggle the most, do you think?
I think the thing he's gonna. I think the most challenging one out of all of those is probably gonna be the 10,000 ducats. But then again,
I think you might be right.
I mean, it's not a matter of whether he's gonna get it. He's gonna get it because India is very rich, and Vijayanagar starts with. I think he can actually get the 10,000 ducats fairly easily, right? But if in order to get the other objectives done, he has to have a proper war path, right? And that's going to cost him some money. That's going to cost him some loans. So eventually, he's going to need to get more loans to get that 10K by the end, right? So it depends on how big he gets, how much he can... Because, you know, the amount of loans you can take is based on a few things, right? And in order for him to get the war exhaustion, he's going to have to go down the opposite path of a stable economy. So let's see.
Yeah.
Let's see. It's going to be interesting.
We'll make it more tricky. Taking a look over here at Quarbit's perspective, though, we are seeing some early game challenges being faced. I'm hoping we're not going to get too much of a repeat of Aldra's rage quit. I know he's in chat, so I hope he doesn't mind me calling it that early on in the first challenge. But Novgorod have managed to push back fair amount in the treasury, though. Could be getting some murking up, but not seeming in too much of a hurry to push up here. But we'll see. I mean, in terms of taking a look at the challenges on the board that need to be done here, having managed to get 2 of them already is obviously obviously a strong position to be in. I think we actually might find ourselves this round in a both people completing every challenge that they face themselves. I mean, it's very plausible. It's plausible.
It's extremely plausible. They're both very competent players, established in the EU4 multiplayer scene as well, and competitive and speedrunners and so on. So they know what they're doing. If they chose these objectives, they know that they can easily fulfill them within an hour, right? So the question is going to be
battle.
The question is, if both sides get all of the objectives, then the winners. I think Zlewikk's got one more objective. I'm not sure actually. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah.
Yes, it is. He does.
So then Zlewikk would be the winner because of that, I guess.
If managing to pull them out all out. It's worth noting, chat, that we've picked some great players to bring in to play for you in this tournament. They are playing with a number of handicaps, which I would like everybody to not forget. One is that they are in a multiplayer lobby, meaning that the game won't run quite as smoothly, quite as speedily as you might be used to in single player. And the other is that they are playing on remote machines, meaning they are facing a little bit of delay. Obviously, we're doing what we can to make sure that they have the best experience that is realistic for us to be able to produce this, but it's worth noting that it will be harder than you guys playing along at home. And I should point out, you guys should play along at home. You know, the challenge boards have been up on the screen. You can see this one right now. Give a go. See how many of these you can complete. I would love to see you guys in the Discord showing me just how many of these you can get done in 60 minutes. I know that some of the subscribers I've been talking to thinks I'm going very easy on these challenges. Like, no, I can do 10 of these in 60 minutes. First try, no problem. And I would love to see some of you to give that a go, because I'd be very curious. And the other thing I'd love if you would do, if you follow the channel, because there'll be lots more of this draft coming over the coming weeks, as well as other fantastic Paradox related shows, which you should be excited to. Can you add a points bar to the bottom? We could think about it. It's tricky to convey the amount of information that we're trying to all at once, but we'll see. We'll see. And we'd love feedback on how the how this format works, because we are, of course, running it for the first time. Ludi, if I throw it over to your perspective, what's going on down in India?
My perspective, I'm trying to actually get the screen on Zlewikk's side. It's unbelievably bad right now for me with
Okay, fair enough.
So I think it's best we switch to Zlewikk's perspective.
Fair play. Oh, look at that. Nice. Going up, coring stuff, not just leaving it uncored. Concentrating all the development. Okay.
That begs the question, where is he going to get the uncored provinces from? Is he going to be, at the end, releasing half of his country and just making himself really small, and then afterwards taking one province, and that's 50% of his non-cores? That's plausible.
Certainly possible.
I mean, to be fair, the amount of vassals that he can release now, he already has 8 subjects. With the lines that he's got, he literally has 8 subjects he can release.
So I suppose that is the play, to grab both of those points, and let's have those challenges on the board while we're talking about it. Grab both of those points right at the end by having a bunch of stuff ready and then releasing everything else.
So he's got the 4 objectives he can do fairly easily. He just needs to have 5 subjects, so that's one of his other objectives. He's already humiliated Bakhmanis. Large city, he just needs to get a little bit more. If we switch over to my perspective, I can show this. So he just needs to get feudal society, which, like I said, is doable. Large city, and that's it. So that's one objective done. Then the second objective with the 8 subjects is done whenever he releases the rest of the subjects. Own both sides of a straight crossing is pretty much done, because he's going to get the war done with, what's these people called? Vanai, whatever. Jaffna, my bad. And yeah, there you go. We've got like pretty much all of them done. Have 10,000 ducats and 50% provinces non-core and war exhaustion. Those are the ones that are going to make the difference, right? Because the other ones are pretty much a matter of him choosing the right moment to release and do specific things.
Sure. Yeah. Definitely not too difficult. We've been thinking, chat, and if you have suggestions on this, please do put them in. Is when, obviously, not for this week, but some of these challenges, it may turn out are a little bit too easy, some are a little bit too hard, and I'd love your feedback on how we can tweak them. So one thing we were thinking is 20 war exhaustion, right? Not that hard. You can get up to it, and it's easy to recover from afterwards. What about 20 war exhaustion and -3 stability?
Hey,
that puts you in a weaker position. Yeah.
That's a proper objective there.
That would definitely make it a little bit more spicy.
And I'd say if this objective own both sides of a straight crossing, we should not count this or not let this be allowed as long as the country that you select starts with that particular objective already.
Maybe.
That would pretty much beat the purpose, wouldn't it?
Maybe, but I think it's then partly about the nation bit, because the nations with straight crossings do restrict you. There aren't a huge number that begin with straight crossings, although there are some in some pretty potent positions. Yeah. We used to have a 20 war exhaustion. That's just how I play. Will 30 war exhaustion do? Have 2 straight crossings. We could make it 2 straight crossings, because there are. That would the problem is that would begin to lock you out of places. Like, you'd really struggle with that in India, for example.
It's not that difficult. India, a little bit in India, let's say.
Yeah, in Europe.
Well, like in Europe, it's not that big of a deal. Yeah. Like if it's Northern Europe, you would literally have the Rügen crossing. You would have all of the Danish stuff, or you would have the Scottish bits to the Isles. There's so many in North. There's so many in the Mediterranean as well. So.
Yeah, definitely if you're around there, but we'll see. Meanwhile, obviously Zlewikk just cleaning up. Vijayanagar, an extremely potent start. Not surprised to see them doing really, really well. But not yet completing any objectives. It's all well and good to have the game going well, but with no manpower and no money, obviously he has a lot of debt that he could potentially take in, but we'll see. Could certainly be plausible that's not going to cause him too much of a problem. You can obviously continue expanding and so on, which means that you then have that. Obviously, the concentrate development, presumably for the large city objective. I have to imagine that's why he was focusing on that. Unless there's something you can think of. That goes beyond that.
Yeah, that would make sense. That would make a lot of sense. Yeah.
Trying to rack up those 4 ages. Exactly,
and not lose your own mana points from developing that province, I guess.
Makes sense. Now, if we hop over to Quarbit's perspective, although I'm going to keep the scores on the screen for you. The challenges on the screen. Going after the Livonians and the Teutons, well timed, managing to get there before the Polish make their play, or the Danzig Federation event fires. Why these two? What's the thinking here? I suppose, obviously not a hugely difficult war to win against these 2 Crusader states.
Yeah.
To push in, it will give some more provinces. Also, a lot of forts that could be taken. What is that?
2 forts. The one in Reval and the one in Latgalen.
All right, but
you mean the one from the Teutons as well? Yeah. Did he
3 in the
Teutons though?
He did not. Okay,
so that's how he's going to do it then. He's going to get the coalition by taking the forts in the Teutons, which is double the 80, right?
Oh, good point. I was thinking that the not co-belligerenting was either a mistake or because he didn't intend to take land from the Teutons. I hadn't considered that might actually be a strat to crank up the war exhaustion. Ooh, but that won't work if the troops get sent packing. But here, coming in, saving the day. Bohemia as an ally here. Very, very strong early on, of course. Compared to some nations their size, having 2 subjects, giving them effectively an extra 20,000 manpower base is going to be really nice. And yeah, the reinforcements coming out from the south going to make that pretty easy. And of course, better than being allied to Poland in this war, because they don't have any desire to have any of this land for themselves, and so won't cause too many problems yoinking that up. But yes, I think that's probably the case. Grabbing some extra land in the Teutons. The problem is the way to beat a coalition, the kind of cheese strat that I'm thinking of, is you cause it to fire, and then as soon as it starts growing, you declare war on it, and then you beat the bit that started growing, and you don't worry about the big coalition that forms after that. Problem is, if the coalition starts forming in the HRE, aggressively declaring on it is going to mean that you have to face Austria. Obviously, that makes it a wildly harder proposition. Not impossible by any stretch of the imagination, but a lot more difficult.
I mean, not necessarily though. I mean, yeah, you have a point. But even with Austrian, it's not like Austria is like the ultimate cat lord or anything.
No, they're not unbeatable.
End of the day has a pretty big army overall. He's got a decent chunk of troopers over there. He can get some Cossacks as well. He can wreak some havoc.
Could certainly. I mean, it's certainly still doable. It's just that it's. especially in that situation, because what you're trying to do is stomp a small coalition before the bigger coalition then fires and gets you. So, I mean, if Austria's slowing you down on that goal, and also being at war with Austria, when the AI is calculating whether they join a coalition, they calculate not only how many troops you have, but how many troops you have relative to current enemies. Meaning that if you're at war with Austria, that will make the rest of the coalition feel far more emboldened to form and declare war on you. So it's possible that could make that situation harder.
He already has the Polish PU, right?
No, just allied.
Oh, okay. That's interesting. Okay, fair enough.
Army size is not big enough, to be getting that. But we'll see. We'll see whether it goes that way. He'd have to. I'm not familiar with the new Lithuanian tree. He'd have to war for that, right?
Yes, he would have to.
Yeah.
For that.
I mean, that seems like a pretty big investment of time at this point, when it's not really ticking you towards points. I mean, it does obviously do the strong one.
He could get the coalition from the AE from EUing Poland, and then he'd have an ally.
True. Good point. That's a very good way to do it. Let's take a look at what Zlewikk is up to.
Yeah. Let's check Zlewikk out. Let's check his POV.
Okay. First subject released. Looks like he's gonna get just a bunch of small ones, and then I assume grant them provinces in order to get rid of his core provinces near the end. Would be the simple way to do it.
Probably, yeah.
Leaves you in a strong position. Yeah. It's definitely doable. Yeah, I know. I like that idea of PUing Poland and then using them as the defensive stick against the coalition that forms because you PU'd them. That's fun. That's a fun way of twisting it around. I know that he has Crownlands, Ludi, which I think is not necessarily a strat we respect in the early estate game here.
Oh no! Well, why would I not respect Crownlands?
Because I don't think he has all the points. He doesn't have
He's got all the +1. He has all the +1.
Oh, he's got all of them. Okay. He just started with a. I suppose no, of course, because he's conquered a bunch. He's conquered a bunch to get the Crownland back. Right.
Exactly. Once you get the land, you get it back. Yeah. It's been 5 years, so he got another 5%. So that's why it seems like he didn't give the +1, but he did give.
Nice. And that's what's so powerful, of course, about being able to yoink it all the way down early, because then when you conquer, you're getting it back much faster. Yeah. I hear someone made a good video about that recently, and been giving some good tips about how you can handle your estates. But
okay.
but I'll stop stroking Ludi's ego. So but there is 4 objectives completed. There is 4 age objectives completed. Very nice for Zlewikk. He's got those, and that's another point on the board. His first points, I believe, on the board.
Does he have, how many subjects does he have now? Let's see. I'm gonna have to restart this parsec computer. I mean, whoever owns the parsec computer is gonna have to restart it because it's extremely slow right now still after the reconnect.
We may need to just roll with Zlewick's perspective then, because I don't think we should be pausing again. That's okay. We can just go with Zlewick's perspective.
Yeah. He's got 5 vassals right now, so he just needs 3 more. That's easy doable. I'm guessing he's waiting with the 3 extra ones until the end of the run. I would too if I was in his case.
Makes sense. No need to release them at this point. Cause hassle.
Exactly.
In the meantime. Yeah.
Exactly.
It makes sense.
And look at that. His income went up to 174. So he's definitely on the path to getting the 10K as well.
Nice. How many loans can he get at the moment?
33 at the moment. But that's going to increase in a while. Give him a little bit of time. Let him.
Yeah. Lots of autonomy tick down.
Exactly.
Yeah. Definitely.
Stabilize that country. Make it a proper vagina gar, you know what I mean?
Looking pretty good. And then, I mean, his next play here, he doesn't really need many more wars. Let's remind ourselves, of course, of what challenges he's shooting for here. He doesn't. So what he needs now is an area to take land for it to be non-core at the point when he releases everyone. He also needs to make sure he keeps time to diplo-annex a vassal.
He could easily do that with one war against Orissa, because Orissa right now, if you look at the screen, Orissa just annexed Andhra, his neighbor. So because of that, he could take in one war all of the Orissa lands, all of the small pre-development subjects that Orissa has, and with all of that, that's like 30% of his lands now, and once he releases the vassals, gives a couple more provinces, then he already has the objective done.
Sure.
And he could get the war exhaustion from being in that war with Orisa.
True.
So what else would he need then? Let's see. He would have the war exhaustion. He already has the 4 objectives. He has the river crossing with the vassal in the south.
That's the one he's going to diplo annex. I would assume he's going to diplo annex the one with the crossing. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. There you go. Yeah. That makes a lot of sense.
One thing that's useful for me to mention to chat is that we are saying the terms we're using for these challenges is own versus control. Own means you own the province directly, as in your tag owns that province, and control means own or have a subject control, or have a subject own rather. That's how we're doing it for these challenges, just to try and keep that super nice and clear. The 20 war exhaustion, the other thing he could do if he did it right at the end, because obviously you wouldn't want to do this before then, would be as long as he has enough admin, he could just declare a bunch of stab hitting or no CB wars for instant war exhaustion. But you need to be able to stab back up, because obviously you can only declare when you're at -2 or better stability.
Yeah.
So he would need to be able to pull himself out.
He can do all the objectives right now. He can do all the objectives almost instantly, but he's waiting for the 10K because he needs to have a strong economical base in order to get the 10K. Right.
Sure.
That's definitely what he's waiting for here.
Yeah. Doesn't want to be ruining anything before that point. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Really strong play from Zlewikk, which raises the question. And Ludia, I think between the two of us, you're the better smack talker. So. Why has Zlewikk only picked 7 challenges? And do we still respect him as a player of this great game EU4?
I think he made a right choice in picking 7 challenges. It's
come on,
right
that's no
fun. No, but hear me out, right? It's the right amount. Right. 7 is the lucky number. If you pick 8, then that's not a good no bueno. That's no bueno, as they say in Chinese. You know, it's big no bueno. And if you pick 6. Well, you know what they say about people that pick 6, right? You know. What
I don't know. I don't. I'm not sure I do.
I think this is not PG-13. I don't think I'm supposed to say on stream what they say about people that pick 6 challenge. Oh wait, no, wait. Oh no, Quarbit picked 6. I'm sorry. They say that they are really great players. That's what That's what I was going to say.
Ruthless roasting. While we're talking about number of challenges, I should point out to chat that. Obviously, Cleo's play in the last round was fantastic. Unfortunately, she did not get 15 hill provinces. We were looking over the count. It looks like it's possible she confused the color for, what was it, coastal something? For coastline for hills as well. But it looks like she only had 12 same terrain provinces. Which means a total score of 5 for Cleo in the previous one. But
we can also
obviously
take
still
off a diplomatic. Sorry, go ahead.
No, it's all good. It's all good. But no vassals, as I'm saying,
with vassals, no vassals had any hill provinces.
And even had the vassals had hill provinces, it was an own mission, not a control mission, and that is including 7 points of winning, meaning that she got. A mighty 7 points for completing 7 successful challenges, plus 2 points for winning, but minus 4 points. And if I have added 7 to 2 and taken 4 correctly, that's 5. And so it's 5 total points there, which means Zlewikk is on track if he can get the rest of these completed.
Zlewick's already got 2 more objectives done.
Yeah.
He's got the river crossing and he's got the diplo annex right there. So he's got 3 objectives done now.
And obviously it's completely no hard feelings for... Cleo not getting that quite right, because it's very, very tricky in the heat of the moment, trying to count stuff up and keep track and achieve the objectives and go up to the speed limit, totally makes sense. That's why we've got our players self-reporting points.
She did an amazing job, though. I have to say she did an absolutely amazing job.
It was a fantastic role.
Run,
Ditto. Very much ditto. It was a really, really nice run. It's going to be very hard to see a more kind of, you could see the vision right from the end of the picks. It's you could see it all the way through. Will the game be on the YouTube channel? The VOD of this will indeed, I'm sure, be available. Apologies to miscount. That's quite all right, Clear. Don't you worry. It's always going to happen in situations like this when we have the rapid style of gameplay we have going on here. Entirely to be expected that we'd have a couple of mistakes made as we go here. but that's nice. We now have 3 points for Zlewikk, 4 left on the board. Both of our players now trying to complete 4 challenges. And if we hop back over to Quarbit's perspective, I very much suspect he's in the middle of a peace deal. Yes, indeed. So is he going to attempt to crank the aggressive expansion here? It's not looking like it. It's not looking like it. We'll see. We'll see. I do like the idea that Zlewikk is, as chat puts it, just waiting on 10k before he blows up his country. That's a great way of putting it. You just have to get to that 10k. And I really feel like that 10k challenge, and I'm curious about how we can explore this further in some subscriber challenges, but challenges that force you to not detonate your country, basically, because some of them just require you to ruin, right? And if we can get some stuff here, but we'll see. We'll see. All right, there is the peace deal. Yoinked quite a bit there, going up, but not obviously needing to keep it on course. So
can we see the coalition map mode?
Yes, absolutely. Let me get that up here. So we are looking at -48 on Sweden. Although Sweden, of course, still a subject. -30 Muscovy. 45, yeah. No one actually eligible, so we'll need another major war to actually make that coalition happen. I wonder what the next target is. No current fabrication of claims, but they did earlier, Quarbit that is, did earlier get one on Ryazan, so easy war against the Great Horde. Many provinces to be taken from the Great Horde, and of course, trying to get those 20 forts, not needing the cash, so but with only 30 minutes left, it takes longer than you'd think to build stuff up. Check Poland's coalition map mode. I'm sure Poland. Wow, they have actually got themselves a coalition, or at least a possible coalition, able to be formed. But you know the AI, unless they have the ruler trait, yeah, they don't. Then they're going to really respect the limit there, unsurprisingly.
Yeah, no, I see what you mean. I think actually Zlewikk is really close to getting the 10k, by the way.
Oh yes, okay. Let's take a look over at his perspective.
So he's got 177 loans right now, and he can take up to 46 loans.
Mm-hmm.
And he can debase another 5 loans. Obviously, that's where the cap is. Obviously, right. So that means he can take 51 loans at 177. He is really close. Once he reaches 200 ducats, he can take the loans.
Pretty darn close. Pretty darn close.
He can just get some money from a couple of wars around him, right? That's also an option. He can get 450 ducats. Actually, let's see how many ducats he can get from Bakhmanis.
I mean, it would be a fair amount, presumably. I mean, Bakhmanis obviously pretty high dev, so you can force them to take 5 loans, I believe it is, in yanking cash, so...
he can also exploit development. There's a few other things he can do. I think he can probably do this right after this war, to be fair. He might end the challenge with like 10 minutes to spare.
Oh, great point from chat. Selling Crownland as well. Easy, what, 1k probably? Coming
Let's
out of
check
that
how much that would be. That would be...
Maybe less, maybe more like
665.
600, okay. Not too bad, not too bad.
Not too bad at all, yeah.
And of course the debased currency, throw that in.
His agenda is going to give him 100 ducats also. He just needs to develop one province twice. So he actually has the ducats now. After this war he can do it. He's got 10k.
Nice. So the question will be, is he going to do it early and crank the war exhaustion, or what will he do about it? Because of course as soon as you get it,
I would probably get the war exhaustion first before getting the 10k. So get the war exhaustion during the war with the Bakhmanis or Riso, whoever he's going to go to war with, right? Because he realistically just needs one war, that's it, in order to get the money for the 10k.
Sure. Yeah, makes sense. I am very curious to see how the players approach drafting in future weeks, because this week we've seen what I would call kind of very middle of the road, right? We've had between 6 and 9, it's fairly on the high end, but I'm very curious to see if anyone in the third round really pushes it. I mean, 9 was great, but we'll see, because I mean, I want to see someone get 10. I really want to see someone get 10. What I really want to see actually is both players getting 10, because it would be so good. It It'd be such a dramatic turn up if we could actually have that happen. But I mean, it would certainly take some doing.
I fully agree. Zlewikk's got the 8 subjects, by the way. He just needs to release the one he just integrated, Vanai, or Jaffa, whatever it's called.
Yeah, would make sense. Makes sense. Yeah, I wonder where the non-core provinces are going to come from. I mean, we've still got 28 minutes left. It looks like Zlewikk is going to finish with time to spare. It's worth noting. If he wants to really... Go ahead.
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
If he really wants to show off, right, he could just give all of his provinces to one vassal, take one province from another country, and that's 50%.
Well, hang on. No, he doesn't even need to do that. He can give all of his provinces to one vassal, and then he can seize one back.
The province, yeah.
Yeah. Well, he'd have to seize 2 back because you need more than 50%.
Yeah.
Did I put 50? Oh, did I do exactly 50? No, I think we stuck with exactly 50%, didn't we? Yeah. At one point, I was saying more than, but 50 is just easier. But we'll see. I think, let's take a look over from Quarbit's perspective, because right now, I'm struggling to see how Quarbit manages to pull this out. I don't really see. Does territorial count as non-core? No, it doesn't. It has to be actually not cored, as in it has to not have a core at all. I'm curious to see how... There we go. Okay, cranking up the cav. I have to imagine this is going to be the going for 35 cav at once, which is going to be what's needed currently to meet the force limit requirement. Loans coming out to fund that. It's going to be one more challenge knocked off. The alliances, of course, got the 20 forts. I'm not seeing building construction. I've turned on building constructions in my outliner, which is something that I never normally do, just so I can kind of keep track of when those forts start being created. But we'll see. It hasn't happened yet. And of course, he needs to not go bankrupt while those forts are under construction. But here we go. Okay, the fort construction begins. He looks like a man who knows how many more he needs. That is someone with a plan. This is not just out of the gate. But the bankruptcy, of course, cancels all under construction buildings. And yes, I think deletes... do you know how many years it is?
It 5 years. It deletes the buildings built within the past 5 years now. And so I obviously think that would be bad. Upgraded also.
Yes. It used to be that you could really cheese bankruptcy, but now most of the things have been
when
removed.
it first came out with I don't remember the DLC, but when it came out with the centers of trade, people used to like go as a one province miner and they full loan on. They take full loans, upgrade the center of trade, and then go bankrupt right from the beginning. So you start with the level 2, level 3 center of trade. That was pretty powerful.
Very much so. I mean, we're seeing right now still a fair amount of loan limit, only 15 loans up to 32 available, but he is losing, he's taking one loan every 6 months. Pretty fast, but some money from Crownland should keep him in the game there. The 100 prestige looking a little bit out of reach. I'm not so sure that's going to be attainable. I mean, we still got 25 minutes. There's still a lot of game left to run.
He just needs one war for the prestige, to be fair. It's not that difficult, let's face it.
Ooh.
He's got all the cavalry in the war. Wait, he still hasn't done the coalition war, right? So
he hasn't. Alliance with Poland just broke because they flipped hostile because he took the mission to give himself a restoration of Union CB on Poland, which the AI is not very happy about. That's how he's going to
get the AE then.
It seems like it. The alliance with Austria. Alliance with Austria to try and keep himself a bit safe here, but he's not going to be able to call Austria in against Poland in time. I mean,
I'm not sure why he went for the cavalry now instead of the end of the run, though. Is he planning not to do the coalition war, or?
I don't know. I think perhaps he knew that to do the thing about being able to do the cavalry is you need the manpower, right, to actually raise it. And that obviously is something that's
smart. So he's doing it now in case he doesn't have the cavalry afterwards.
Yeah, because I was thinking exactly the same. You know, cavalry, that's a late run thing. But if you're not in an easy position to shrink your nation, aka at peace, because it's very difficult to lose land apart from in the obvious way when at war. So you need to have, you know, whatever it is, in this case, like 30,000 manpower banked just to be able to get that done. He's currently only 2 regiments off. He's got 33 units of cavalry, and there are the 2 being trained. Very, very nice. Okay, looking pretty good. Looking pretty good. Oh no, but they're dying to rebels. They're dying to rebels as we get there. I mean, just managing to save some with a merc stack. Nice, nice. The mercs do, of course, count towards his cavalry count as well. A couple of thousand units in there. But yeah, the rebels, very badly timed rebel firing to knock out a bunch of those cavalry. But yeah, here's a few more, obviously, coming up. Take a look back over at Zlewikk's perspective and remind ourselves of where we're at on the challenges. There is the Orissa War. No great surprises. But Ludi, talk to me. What's going on here?
So he's obviously decimating the Orissans. Apparently what happened, and this is totally true, one of the Gujarati people and one of the Orissan people banded together. They had a banquet, and during that banquet, they insulted the Vijayanagar Prime Minister. The Vijayanagar Prime Minister got really upset, and he said, "We're gonna completely decimate your lands, take 10,000 ducats, and then for some reason give all of our lands to our vassals." So I'm thinking. And
then the Orissans said something really annoying, like decimate means remove 1/10, and the Vijayanagar guy went, "And now you've really done it. We're coming." Exactly. And that was when the war was formed.
This is a blood feud right here. We're witnessing a proper blood feud.
Nice, nice. Meanwhile, over on Quarbit, we're not going to switch back because we've been on Quarbit for a while, but the Cav force limit has now been accomplished, and the castles will be done in a mere 140 days. Very, very nice.
Right.
You know that they've officially changed the definition of a decimate. It does mean like to largely destroy or to totally destroy. And so all of those, any nerd, myself included, who's ever told you that you're using decimate wrong, they were wrong. The definition has changed.
But anyway, but the real question is though, do those people that change the definition, are they Romans? Because I don't think that they're allowed to change it unless they're Romans. Right? So,
we need to go and ask the opinion of some Romans to see if we're allowed to change it. Yeah,
I think we need to do some decimation, old style decimations around. You know what I mean?
I think that might be a bit far, to be honest. But all right. So looking at the challenges that are still left to be accomplished. The 20 forts is definitely going to be accomplished on Quarbit's side. The question is, can he win a coalition war? And I don't see a way to do it because Zlewikk does look on track to get all of theirs completed.
Zlewikk's going to get all of them 100%. I mean, he's got both of these wars right now because he's waiting for both of these countries to unconditionally surrender, right? The moment that these countries unconditionally surrender, he's going to ramp up a ton of war exhaustion. So that's the 20 war exhaustion objective right there.
Sure. Yeah.
Then he already has the subject. He literally just needs to release one more whenever he wants to, and that's it. He's got the ducats as well. He literally has the ducats. So he's got everything.
Yep. Yep. It certainly looks that way. It certainly looks that way. Meanwhile, the forts objective has now been completed over on Quarbit's side of things, and we're going to see where he goes next. I mean, the Lithuanian war seems likely, but he can actually get Austria to come in and help. With a promise of lands. Just declaring it right now would give him a coalition that would almost certainly form because of the truce that they have active. So whether he's able to get that done remains to be seen. The other way you could do it, I suppose, would be, yeah, this could work. You could cheese it by doing something like a no CB against like Ireland, delete all your men, and then whoever you didn't know CB against will join a coalition because they think you're super weak. You'd have to have no allies, though. And then you can just train the men straight back. But
can we switch over to your POV for a second?
Yeah, let's have a look here. Because what I'm thinking is, we've got at the moment, there's this coalition kind of brewing. But the truce with Poland, meaning this declaration, would put them in a bad spot. Ooh, Bohemia not accepting the call, though. That's nice. I thought
that
Zero
would be pretty easy.
Favored the defender. That's my mistake. Yeah, that's
definitely the play. That's definitely the play. Yep.
Just the problem is that if he declares this, even with Austria on side, it's Bohemia back in. But
here's the thing, right? He can call in the Austrians afterwards. He doesn't need to call them in now. He can call them afterwards. Does he have 10 favors with Austrians?
No, he doesn't, and he's not going to get it soon because Austria is so much stronger than him. Oof. He doesn't have the Diplo rep or the relations to really crank it much faster.
Well, I mean, that's when to curry the favors though, because they can join within a certain 20 months or 30 months or something.
Yeah.
So the moment that the war starts, right? So he would have time to curry the favors with them.
He'd only be getting an extra 0.13 from curry because of the current relations, and he hasn't got much diplo. Yeah, per month. But it's only, it's only one and a bit a year. I think it could be done. The problem is, as soon as he declared this, you'd probably get Denmark, Hungary.
Hello.
Oh, okay. There we go.
10K
there
boys.
we go.
10K.
Nice. 10K ducats for Zlewikk. Here it is.
The
truce
war.
break. The truce break without the Austrian call. Potentially planning for the Austrian call with the promise of lands. This stage, yes, there it is. And we know he promised them land because they definitely didn't have 10 favors. Definitely a winnable war, but a close one. A very close one. Let's look at it from his perspective here, because I know
Quarbit's
this is going to be...
a good player as well, so he can handle this.
Definitely.
Hefty amount of troops as well.
Nice. Meanwhile, Zlewikk is just cranking through. Oh, God. But I think it might all go horribly wrong, actually, because bankruptcy is going to happen in just like 4 months. That's not great. That's not great at all.
He's probably going to consolidate his regiment so he doesn't go bankrupt, I'm assuming.
That would make sense.
Well, after a few battles.
And there we go, deleting a bunch of forts. Yeah, there was a big expense on forts for a little while there. But meanwhile, over on the other side, we've got the 10K ducats done. We've got the 8 subjects done. And yes, Bohemia joining against certainly makes it more challenging. But we'll see. We'll see. Let's keep eyes on Zlewikk right now, because I want to see this nation ruining.
Look at that. Switch over to Zlewik's POV. Look at that. That is delicious.
Nice. Nice.
You can actually eat that with the marmalade.
Disloyal subjects. That's beautiful. That's beautiful.
Oh, look how many he's got. See, this is a proper objective. Look at that. I told you this man's gonna go for more than 8 subjects. You see what's going on there?
We could definitely crank the numbers in the.
I think we should use this as a benchmark for the objectives right here. Because if he can get this many, then it's we can set this up as the amount that we should have, right? How many is that?
All right.
Let's see. Can we count them?
It's 10.
Oh, there's more than
11.
10. Oh, it's like 11. 11,
yeah. 11 up there. Nice. Nice.
That is beautiful. He could definitely get more than an 11 as well.
The situation over on Quarbit's side, which we should just take a look at here, is less than beautiful. He's quite badly outnumbered, and the Austrians are not pulling their weight. They're losing fights. Oh, God. And there's the coalition war, I think, right? Yes. The Hungarian-Lithuanian punitive war.
Hey.
That's not great. That's not great.
He can focus on the coalition, though.
With what army?
It's his army.
Austria didn't honor the call in the coalition. Oh, no.
You can get mercenaries. There's always the mercenary option, right?
He's got quite a lot of money still. But, I mean, this is not looking so good. It's going to be really close, because if he can pull this off, I mean, well, it's not easy to farm prestige against a coalition. He did get Brandenburg coming in.
How many nations in the coalition?
Quite a lot, like 8. 8. If we take a look at the, let me show you his diplomat mode here.
That's not many. 8 is fine. Okay, that's not too bad. So he could
actually win that. Guy, like we are on different wavelengths.
No. So here's what happens, right? He can white peace, or he can give some lands to the Poles, because he doesn't need to win that war, right? For this game, obviously you don't need to win that, right? So you get rid of Moldova, get rid of Poland, get rid of Bohemia from that one, and then once you do that, you just focus on the coalition. So you won.
You would what army?
He still has mercenaries. There you go.
That's there's the Polish piece. Yeah, there's the Polish piece. Could happen.
He can just handle now Hungary and Sweden. Sweden's not even going to bother with him too much. Sweden's going to focus on the forts in the north, and as long as he focuses on Hungary, he gets the war score. He can win this.
It's certainly still possible. It's certainly still possible. And if we just 100%. Take a quick look over at Zlewikk, we now have all missions completed over on Zlewick's side. Very, very nice. Look at that monstrosity of a nation that he's ended up there with 20. He's got 21 more exhaustion out of 20. I didn't know that was possible. I guess that will correct down at the end of the month, but that's hilarious.
Oh my God. We should make this an objective. 21 war exhaustion from now on.
What's the maximum war exhaustion you can have then? It must be like you can declare 1 war a month, which means
37.
You could get more than that, right? Because you have to declare a war which breaks a truce against someone with whom you have military access and an alliance, and that would get you like 14 more exhaustion in one click.
Hold on, so I think these are all the objectives for Zlewikk now.
It is. That is every single objective done.
I told you he's going to have 10 minutes left to spare.
I'm not overly surprised. He had a really good objective set, really good nation to do it, and obviously a really good player handling things behind the scenes. It was a very, very nicely played game. Meanwhile, Quarbit, still obviously a great player, but having some real challenges. 30,000 troops though, that's a big stick to swing around, and he's going to bring the hammer down south. It's both a stick and a hammer, don't worry about my metaphors. He's going to bring it down south, and there's lots of small stacks that think it's safe to Quarbit siege. It definitely isn't. Quarbit now obviously playing for second place, whatever he does, because having drafted one less challenge, it's not going to be possible for him to manage to actually overtop Zlewikk, but he could still potentially bring himself into a better position points-wise here, because right now he's looking at walking home with only 2 points. Sorry, no, with 0 points. If he's not able to complete the coalition.
Yeah, he does lose those. Oh.
Ooh, and Brandenburg is requesting you come to their aid against Poland, Bohemia. I think that's going to be a no, Brandenburg.
I think we can just make the full screen now since we don't need to watch the objectives.
It's true.
On the war.
With 12 minutes left, what's your thinking? Can he do it?
I think he can do it. He's a good player, and I do think he can do it.
We're rooting for him. We're certainly rooting for him.
Look what he's doing now. He's literally going for the small stacks. This is the way you win coalition wars, by the way. You go for the small stacks, you wipe out the small stacks. Eventually, the war score piles up. He's probably going to start getting ticking war score for the war gold that he's got, right? And then he's basically won it. There you go.
Already has the ticking.
Coalition. Then he's already won the coalition war.
We'll see. More Hungarians showing up in the south. It's tricky.
He had a little bit of bad dice rolls there, I noticed.
Went in with a bit lower morale as well, since the reduction, the increased morale from winning battles got nerfed. I think I said this to you recently, actually, but I think of, oh sorry, no, it wasn't to you, it was on a different Speed 5 stream, but I think of all mechanics in EU4 that were added since like 1.2 as, oh yeah, that thing they just added. Like every time, I have no frame of reference for when stuff it gets in, but yeah, it looks like he's definitely not going to get the prestige. I can't see a way to do that. I mean, the reason I'm saying it's hard to farm prestige against a coalition is because you can't separate peace. If he could separate peace out each of these people, cancel 3 rivals each, get a bunch of prestige, get whatever that it would be, 15 prestige from each piece, then you could get it up, but with this number, it's just going to be a lot harder. That was lucky. Getting that little yoink there. How close is he to be? Because remember, to win, he has to send a demand which they accept. White peace is not a demand.
Yeah. He has to have a concede defeat or something.
Yeah, or just 1 ducat.
He can get it. He can get it. If we can see the war score screen.
Yeah, right now he's at negative 66.
Yeah.
Now negative 65 for the acceptance. It's pretty close.
Yeah. 100% he can get it. He needs 3-1 battles against 9k stacks. If he's getting 3 battles against 9k stacks or 10k stacks,
all the reinforcing in. Oh, just in time. That was so good. He managed to win the battle with 1 day to spare to give the Hungarians the penalty, but is it going to be enough? Oh, it is. They retreated. Nice. I think he might have lost if they hadn't retreated.
Should have consolidated. Oh, yeah.
It's so close though. But all the occupations are hurting him because he doesn't have any forts, because he deleted so many forts that the relative value of unforted provinces is really high. So with only 9 minutes on the clock, I mean, he's got a lot of time, actually. 9 minutes, I mean, it's not a huge amount of time, but it's quite a bit for this situation.
He did keep the forts by the border with the Hungarians. He kept Rivne. I think he kept what else?
It's the only one he kept, I think.
Rivne. Okay.
Yeah. The ones in the north were yeeted in the bankruptcy panic. The bankruptcy panic of 62 saw the death of many of those forts. White peace does not count. You need to take at least anything worth at least 1 war score. And obviously slipping into the negatives.
If I was him, I would wait a couple of months for my armies to properly replenish the regiments and the morale before engaging. But at the same time, I would try to move them around to prevent the enemy from merging into bigger stacks, which I'm noticing is starting to do actually.
Yeah. He's doing very well at making them stay broken up. After the
he is, yeah.
With the Danes constantly drip feeding in from the north, managing to keep them on the back foot is just so important.
He has to prevent
look at that! The Hungarians split their forces. What a mistake! Yep. That's fantastic for him. Saving that fort that was getting low. Very nice.
If he takes the capital of Hungary, he can win the war now. All he has to do is take the capital of Hungary. That's it.
Yeah.
Because he's got the ticking war score. He's got the wins.
That was an unfortunate one with the reinforcements. Ouch.
Oh, no.
He's still got a fair amount of runway in terms of money, But the problem is if his capital falls, they're going to be really hitting him hard on peace deals.
I wager he can take their capital before they take his, because it's a 1,000. If their capital, he just needs a siege general. If their capital, it's 1,000 units. It's not 3,000 garrison. It's 1,000.
Neither's Vilnius.
Pest. He doesn't have any siege generals, does he?
It's going to be very close. It's going to be very, very
close. Really close. Really
Fighting
close.
for his points. Oh, and the Hungarians that were routed have come back.
Oh, no.
I don't know. I'm not sure I can see it.
I think he can do it. I think he can do it.
Oh, okay. A new mercenary stack up in the north narrowly survived. Oh, but charging in. Really that's close. Not a fight. Not a fight to take.
Oh, no.
Oh, it's all coming apart. He's done it. He's pushing to Pest. Okay.
There you go. He's in Pest.
The play has been started. He's got a siege leader. He's going to come down to rolls. It's going to come down to rolls. But the problem is the fort in Pest. I mean, it's worth a lot for reasons.
He can assault it as long as it cracks the walls, right? In Pest.
He can, but even then, he needs to get up to plus. It will make Hungary more want to peace out. He needs to get all the way up to plus 10%.
Crack, you stupid Pest.
It's not going to happen. There's too many on the way. And bankruptcy's happening in 2 months.
Oh no.
No, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. I feel like we might see. Oh, but they're retreating north. They didn't take the fight. But there's bankruptcy. No, they were all mercenaries. No. All right. Well, I have to imagine that's going to be a GG. People can, of course, if they wish to, GG out early. But it was good try.
GG.
I mean, how is he going to win a game?
Is there a second coalition? If there's a second coalition, like a smaller one, he could try and declare
Pomerania. No, they're in it. I think everyone is in, unfortunately.
It literally just has to be...
There's no one. Everyone in the coalition is at war. Yeah. He'd need to, like, no CB Circassia or something.
He still has time. He could still do it somehow. He just needs a second coalition. A couple of countries in.
Well, oh god, I didn't even notice Chernigov was split out from him. Oh, that is heartrending.
Bad luck with
that was heartbreaking. There was some really bad luck on timings.
Well. He was like, what, 7% or something?
He was very close. But I mean, even if he won that siege, it's not enough. Because he has to get to plus 10. However much Hungary wants to peace out, they'll have a minus 1,000 to take anything until he goes up there. I haven't seen Quarbit call GG yet. Perhaps somebody in the back end could ask him if he would like to, because I have to imagine. I feel like he would. Can you not start a war while bankrupt? No, you can. You can. You just have, terrible morale.
He's got minus 3 stability.
But that's it. That's the towel thrown in from Quarbit. Let's take a look at the final scores here. It was a very, very close run thing for a while, but unfortunately, despite some good plays from Quarbit, especially after a really tough early war, that's going to be a 0 points to walk away from. But look on the bright side, you're ahead of Aldra. And I'm a good friend of Aldra, so I mean, he won't mind me hating on him too much, but he knows it's not hating on, is rather how I should phrase that. But coming in with 0 points is only second worst right now.
You told me you hate Aldra Hill. What are you talking about?
Oh, sorry, you weren't supposed to tell everybody that. That was private. But it's been a good round for sure. We saw some honestly textbook play out of Zlewikk, racking up 9 points for him to take home today, the highest so far by a significant margin. We'll see if anyone can beat that in the next one. In order to beat that, remember, our players in the final round would have to draft at least 8 challenges. We will see if anyone is willing to do that, but we will see. We will see, and I'm looking forward to hearing from what our players have to say. I'm not sure if our he is phenomenal. And just
I mean, I keep track. I ran over here. I've learned one thing so far tonight, or I've learned several things, but the one thing I have learned is that if you want to win your matchup, pick a nation that starts with V for victory, and that seems to be working just fine.
Good point.
This is what you need to do.
And pick the scales.
A proven strategy.
Pick the scales also, I think, is involved in that.
Yeah,
it's a proven strategy. Proven strategy.
So we've upped the we put up the the quest boards here, just to confirm what's going on. Zlewikk, of course, early completed all of his 7. And Quarbit managed 4 out of 6, ending up at 0. Zlewikk, of course, sitting at 9.
I mean, that is the challenge of the draft. I mean, you get 4 out of 6. 0 is a harsh score to walk away from. You feel like you got 2/3 of it done. But that's why this game mode takes no prisoners.
No, it definitely doesn't. I think that's one of the other things to notice here so far, is that if you do fail, you tend to fail spectacularly because of those -2 for failures. Once again, it was super interesting to hear your cast. I am going to go talk to our players, though. I'll see you guys in the next one. Zlewikk, congratulations. The casters described it as textbook. How are you feeling after that?
Well, textbook will be if I took all the 10 challenges, but as told earlier, for the first week, I prefer to go very safe, do what I know that I can 100% do without any problems. Maybe next week we'll try a bit harsher way.
Okay, well, I'll keep you to that promise. Quarbit, how are you feeling?
Felt like I bit off a little bit more than I could chew there.
I mean, it started out very impressive from our end, where, of course, and that's always true when someone goes into a starting nation. It's like, I've instantly completed several of my quests. It was you almost had it. You almost had it, but
honestly, those last 2 ones that I went for were kind of like ego inflating a bit. Those first 4 I had pre-planned, but those last 2, like, Zlewikk stole half of the ones I wanted to get, so I'm like, oh, I need more challenges, and fortunately I went with 2 that I really couldn't accomplish.
Well, that is unfortunate, but this is just week 1. There are 4 more weeks for you guys for you, Quarbit, to claw back some points, and of course for Zlewikk to get even more points, because of course he did promise that next week he's going for at least 8. It was super exciting to see you guys play, and I look forward to seeing you next week. Thank you so much for taking part this week.
Thank you.